When people discuss assault rifles of the World War II era, the STG-44 is often the first that comes to mind. Thus, it was no surprise that DICE would feature the weapon in Battlefield 5's original marketing material, and make it available as the level 13 reward for the assault class. But is it any good? Today, we're going to be reviewing the STG-44, discussing the weapon's history, overviewing its stats, highlighting the best available specializations, and figuring out if the weapon is worth using on the battlefield. Timestamps, as always, will be in the video description, and if you have any suggestions for future weapon reviews, feel free to leave them in the comments section down below. But with that out of the way, let's get right into it. The STG-44, or Sturmgewehr 44, was a German automatic assault rifle designed in 1942. Considered to be the first successful, mass-produced assault rifle, the STG-44 was designed by legendary firearm developer Hugo Schmeisser, and utilised an intermediate cartridge that allowed for more controllable fire. The weapon was more compact in design than a battle rifle, sporting a higher rate of fire, and was primarily designed for gunfights within a few hundred metres. It would see extensive use by the German army during the Second World War, particularly on the Eastern Front, where it offered a greatly increased volume of fire compared to standard infantry rifles. By the end of the war, it was claimed that 424,000 rifles were manufactured between June 1943 and April 1945, a figure drastically lower than the 1.5 million that had been ordered during this period. The rifle would remain in service following the war, continuing to see use by the East German National Volksalarm and the Volkspolizei, until it was eventually replaced by the AK-47 assault rifle and PPSH-41 submachine gun around 1962. However, the STG's place in history cannot be overlooked, as its influence can still be seen in modern assault rifles, which have gone on to become the global standard for infantry armaments. The STG-44 shares its damage model with all other assault rifles, dealing 25.1 damage per bullet. This damage model extends to around 10 meters before dropping down to 15 per bullet from 75 meters. Pairing this with the rifle's 600 round per minute fire rate, the STG's time to kill ranges from 0.3 to 0.6 of a second. Adjusting this figure for headshot values, the optimal TTK ranges from 0.1 to 0.3 of a second. While these damage values are on the lower end of the spectrum when comparing to other assault rifles, the weapon is incredibly controllable when comparing it to the other top tier options. Bullets fired from the STG travel at 620 meters per second, a figure which, when partnered with the lower recoil values, place the weapon as a firm contender in the medium range between 10 to 25 meters. In terms of magazine capacity, the STG's 30 round magazine, while not incredible, is still a best in class figure. This is partnered to a reasonably rapid 2.4 second tactical and 3.1 second empty reload, figures that are among the best in the class. Shifting focus to the rifle's available specializations, the usual suspects are available to us here, mostly focusing on improving stationary versus moving performance. Overall, I recommend utilizing quick aim, the enhanced grips, the lightened stock, and the custom stock. The goal for this build is to maximize the weapon's accuracy while moving, allowing one to slip from engagement to engagement more easily. However, for less aggressive players, I would recommend switching out the custom stock for the recoil buffer in order to further lean into the weapon's lower recoil and make it an incredibly stable medium range option. The biggest issue with evaluating if a weapon is good or bad is the subjectivity of its best traits to an individual's playstyle. The STG-44 is one of the most consistent rifles available to the assault class, and offers a decent blend of range performance, stability, and close-ranged effectiveness to remain competitive, even against hyper-aggressive infantry players looking to keep engagements as close as possible. However, as one of those hyper-aggressive infantry players, the STG falls behind in too many categories to remain competitive with its more polished counterparts. When comparing its figures with the Sturmgewehr 1.5 and M1907SF, the two rifles I would consider the gold standard of BF5 assault rifle, the STG-44 falls behind in just about every category outside of reload speed and recoil control. While this does mean that it is arguably the most consistent option, particularly when compared against the absolute spitfire that is the M1907SF, it simply leaves the weapon outclassed in many one-on-one engagements. If I had a penny for every gunfight I've gotten into with the STG where I've shot first, not missed, but still been outgunned at ranges where the rifle is supposed to perform, I wouldn't need to be a broke university student. Despite these general complaints, the STG-44 still remains a fairly consistent pick on the servers I frequent, even in the year of 2024 where the meta weapons have long since been identified and perfected by the majority of the player base. Personally, I would attribute this to the weapon's ease to acquire and its relative ease of use rather than its actual performance. However, I can very easily see how it may appeal to others, particularly controller players who do not have the luxury of effortlessly controlling recoil like those of us who play with mouse and keyboard and a high sensitivity. To answer the question, is the STG-44 any good? I would first need to understand the playstyle of the individual asking the question. If you are someone who prefers a bit more of a passive assault playstyle, focusing on backing up the team and removing enemy vehicles from a distance, then I would highly recommend the STG, especially if you have little interest in the semi-automatic primaries available to the class. Alternatively, if you're like me, the hyper-aggressive frag seeker who looked to push the pace and create as much space for the team as possible with their aim and movement, I would probably recommend trying a different firearm. Overall, I'd give the STG-44 a solid 6 out of 10. Cheers for making it to the end of the video, guys. What do you think about the STG-44? Do you think my rating was fair? Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and check to see if you're subscribed so you don't miss any future uploads. It's been a pretty long time since I've shown my face on this platform, but I do have a bit of a reinvigorated desire to play Battlefield and make content, so hopefully you'll be seeing more of me in the future. Anyways, thank you all so much. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you later. Peace out.